Since I went to my first ever barbecue at my auntie and uncle's place and they showed me how you can cook spare ribs on the barbecue, it's probably been my favourite thing to eat on a barbecue. And they're perfect on their own, just with a little bit of salt, but I want to show you how you can almost do a cheat char siu. Now, char siu is Chinese pork, and it normally gets brined and marinated for a long time. It's like a 3-day process to try and end up with the good char siu that you get at a Chinese restaurant, so the barbecued plum pork that you get at a Chinese restaurant. I'm going to show you how you can speed that process up a little bit using the condiments that I've got in front of me to make a marinade, and then cook your spare ribs like you normally would. Just brush them with your marinade as you're cooking away, and you'll end up with a similar sort of flavour that takes maybe half an hour instead of 3 days. The first thing I want to do is make my marinade. So in this bowl here, I've got a basting brush. In the bowl, I want to put all this together. So the first thing is honey. So the sweetness of the char siu is going to come from the honey. If you wanted to go more like a Southern American flavour, you could put maple syrup if you wanted to, or treacle or golden syrup, or one of those things. You just need some sweetness from somewhere. This is hoisin, another one of those great Chinese sauces. Then we've got Chinese 5-spice. This is the main flavour that you're going to get in char siu, apart from sort of that plum porky barbecue flavour. The underlying spice is this Chinese 5-spice. Put that in. Then some star anise. So they've got almost a licoricey aniseedy sort of flavour, which is surprisingly sweet when they come in star anise. Something like fennel seed is a little bit bitter, but the licorice aniseed flavour that you get from star anise is really nice and sweet. Pop those in. Then Shaoxin, so some cooking wine, Chinese cooking wine. Pop that in. Brown sugar. You can see most of this is sweet. The Shaoxin is a little bit acidic, a little bit astringent. The garlic, you can just do that, just crush it to release the flavours, the oils, and pop that in. Same with the ginger. I'm not going to worry about peeling it. Again, I just want that flavour that comes out of it. So you don't have to get a spoon and peel it. Roughly chop it. Again, with marinades, you can get away with that. And then I want a pinch of salt. Pork loves salt, so you're going to need some saltiness in this somewhere. Mix all that together, and that is our marinade. I just want my zest, microplane, the zest of an orange, and then my pork ribs will go straight onto the barbecue. If you wanted to, you could marinate this. So if you had an extra spare hour up your sleeve, you could pour all this over the top of your ribs in a roasting tray, pop them in the fridge, and let them sort of mingle, let those flavours start to impart on the pork itself. But for something like this with such strong flavours, I don't think that's necessary. You can get away with the marinade just cooking on the ribs, and you'll still get all the flavour you want because it is such a strong basting sauce. Ribs on. All right, they are pretty much done. They've been on there for about, or even probably close to half an hour, between 20 minutes and half an hour, I reckon. And depending on how thick your spare ribs are is obviously how long it's going to take to cook through. But you can cook them for quite a long time because there's so much fat in the belly that they're not going to dry out. So keep cooking, keep cooking, keep cooking until you start to get these dark, sort of caramelized black bits on there. They're the bits that you're really after. That's where all the flavour is going to come from. So now that we've got a nice bit of colour on that, nice amount of colour, they can come off. That's our sort of cheat half an hour char siu pork. Instead of going through all the process that you have to go through to get that normal char siu pork flavour. It's a great recipe for out in the bush because it's very, very simple. You don't require a lot and all you need is heat. So whether you're using the char grill plate on top of the Oz Pig or the barbecue plate on top of the Oz Pig, you'll still get that same flavour and that same creation at the end, because you're just trying to caramelize the sugars that are in that marinade.